In this video, you will learn all the best team building strategies, and I will also showcase how you can build a team with every beginner banner 5-star character. So I am going to assume you pulled on the beginner banner and got one of the 5 stars. This way I can showcase a team with each one while also relying on free-to-play units, and afterwards I will also mention some upgrades. Now starting with Welt, he is a really good debuffer and a pretty decent damage dealer, but you definitely need to bring a single target DPS to ramp up the team's performance, and Dun Hung is excellent here. Welt and Dawn have a perfect synergy with each other, because Dawn's ultimate and basic attack deal a lot more damage when the enemy is slowed, and while Dawn himself can apply slow from his skill, it might get resisted. However, Welt can slow enemies with his technique before the battle, or from his skill, which can jump on multiple targets, and even the ultimate's imprisonment effect applies reduced speed. You can see for yourself how Dawn's ultimate damage increases by nearly 30% when there is a slow applied from Welt. So this combo definitely works, and Dawn doesn't have to rely on his own skill to apply slow. Now as for the rest of the team, I won't mention this for every team over and over again, so just make sure to have a healer, and Natasha is your free-to-play unit you can rely on for this job, but you can also go with Bailu or a strong shielder. And as for the last slot, Serval works really nice here, especially in Simulated Universe. Together with Welt, they can both benefit from the Path of Nihility buffs. Or you could otherwise go with Asta to speed up the team and cover fire toughness, or March 7th if you need extra survivability. Finally, for upgrades, Zila instead of Dawn is worth going for. It's actually my main team right now, but I wouldn't say that she's mandatory, more like a variation. Although, since she can self-buff her speed and Welt can reduce the speed on enemies, they have a nice synergy going with each other. Now, this next team is actually one of my favorites, but before we continue, thanks to Prime Gaming for sponsoring this video. Guys, don't forget to claim your free Genshin loot with Prime Gaming. There's some great rewards you can get every month. I just claimed the 7th drop, which includes Primo Gems and experience books, as well as tasty food, and all I had to do was sign up for a free 7-day trial. And the best part is that you also get many other benefits, like a free Twitch sub you can use for your favorite streamer, and you also get a ton of free games and in-game content, ranging from indie to AAA titles. And let's not forget this is Amazon, so you also get free Prime Video and Prime shipping included. So make sure to use my link in the description or pinned comment, sign up for a free 7-day Prime membership, or connect your current Prime account and get that Genshin loot before it runs out. Most importantly, you'll also help support my channel big time. If you pulled Clara, then I've got good news for you. You can build an insane team with her by using March 7th. You see, Clara counters an enemy each time she gets attacked, and while her technique and ultimate can increase her threat so enemies are more likely to target her, it's kind of inconsistent over multiple turns. But with March 7th, when she applies shield on Clara, not only Clara can tank more damage, but March's shield specifically increases the threat level, so enemies are more likely to attack the shielded ally. I'm telling you, this combo is absolutely busted, and what's even better, March can cleanse with her shield and fixes one of Clara's problems when she gets disrupted with one of the elemental debuffs, because then she won't counterattack, but March can easily fix this situation and allow the Barefeet girl to continue on her revenge path. Oh, and one more thing, I noticed not many people know this, but Clara's counters are actually considered as follow-ups. It even says so in the tooltip here, so you can easily build her with Path of Elation buffs in Simulated Universe and enjoy the havoc she causes with insane counter damage. Now for the rest of the team, besides healer, the last spot is flexible, so you can either go with Asta, Herda, Qingque, Serval, or Dawn. It's really up to you which free-to-play unit you want to invest in. But for upgrades, replacing the flexible slot with Tingyun or Bronya is really good. Or you could also go with Arlan to save up on those skill points, since his skill doesn't consume one. Finally, don't forget to grab the 5-star Destruction Light Cone from Herda's shop. It's really good on Clara, and you can get the currency by doing Simulated Universe. It's actually hilarious how broken Himiko is when it comes to farming. This is a team I'm showcasing right now. Herda with Himiko are literally finishing off each wave of enemy by just using their talents. It's almost hilarious how smooth they work together, and I haven't even invested that many resources into Himiko. Now with that being said, she is a bit lackluster when it comes to single target damage, so when building a team, you can sacrifice your own team's elemental type coverage by adding Asta into the team. Not only can she deal good single target damage from her skill, bouncing so many times, but when you enable her second trace, everyone in the team deals 18% more fire damage. That's a pretty insane buff. Both Himiko and Asta can utilize this, and you could further double down on this and include Fire Trailblazer. Although, again, you will basically only cover 2 elements if using a healer like Natasha, so I would suggest instead to pick a different element so you have a better type coverage. But yeah, as I showcased before, you could also build Herda for this team for that ultimate AoE damage. However, Dun Hung is definitely better when you're going up against bosses and need that single target nuking damage. Finally, for upgrades or variations, a no-brainer choice would be Tingyun once again. That attack buff and energy restoration is really something else. Although, because Himiko and Asta both can apply burn, Sampo can be a great alternative since he boosts damage over time with his ultimate, while also inflicting the dots himself. Now, if you want to build a team with an insane shield, Japard is here to help you out. Honestly, he is a pretty flexible unit, but one team that works super well with free-to-play units is Japard, Donghong, Serval, and Natasha. Later on, it's very likely that Japard will be able to tank a lot of damage and quickly recover his ultimate meter, so you could replace Natasha with another free-to-play unit like Asta, or go for an upgrade unit like Tingyun. You could also replace Serval with Arlen to save up on those skill points, or include Hook, who has great single target damage, and then you can go for that ultimate boss killing team. Arlen is actually really great here because he does sacrifice his own health, but since Japard will be tanking here and applying shield for everyone, it's quite easy to keep him alive. Although if you are struggling, you could keep him alive with a team like Japard, Arlen, Tingyun, and Natasha. So Tingyun, for example, can use her ultimate to quickly recover either Natasha's or Japard's ultimate, and then one of them can apply emergency healing or shield. But otherwise, Japard isn't really locked down to one single team he is good at, and I would say the biggest priority when building him is to build a hunt or destruction character with strong single target damage alongside him. Also, speaking of improving power, don't forget to grab the 5-star preservation light cone from Herder's shop. Not only does it help Japard resist from getting debuffed with extra effect resistance he's getting from it, but he also can gain a free shield every few turns, so that turns him into an even better tank. If you pulled Yanqiang, there's a real good free-to-play boss killer team you can build, and it revolves around Fire Trailblazer, which you can unlock after completing the first planet story. Now, the whole team looks like this: Yanqiang, Fire Trailblazer, Serval, and Natasha. It's a bit of a high-risk, high-reward comp, since there's still a chance Yanqiang can get attacked. You see, Yanqiang gains this powerful ability called Soul Steel Sync after using his skill, which increases his crit rate and damage by a lot, and it even improves his ultimate damage. However, if he gets damaged by an enemy, he loses this ability, and this significantly lowers his damage. So what can you do about this? Well, first of all, in this team comp, the actual character placement matters. So make sure Yanqiang is on the opposite corner from Fire Trailblazer, since even if the tank can force enemies to target him, a lot of them have splash damage, meaning adjacent allies can get hit, and you don't want that to happen for Yanqiang. Now, the other big thing is that he can still retain this ability if he gets hit and has a shield. As long as the damage gets absorbed by the shield, he will be okay. He won't lose the Soul Steel Sync ability, and he can continue dealing insane damage. Now, when it comes to upgrades, you definitely want to use Tingyun or Bronya. Both of them are excellent damage buffers, although Tingyun's capability to restore energy is super valuable here, since Yanqiang can unload so much single target damage from his ultimate, it's not even funny. You could also go for Japard instead of Fire Trailblazer, although you will be losing out on fire type enemy coverage. However, a good rule of thumb when building Yanqiang's team would be to have a tank, a healer, and then either a buffer or a debuffer. Also, don't forget to grab free Eidolons from this shop for Fire Trailblazer, hunt some chests, and complete the planet's quest to acquire the currency for that extra power. Finally, yet again, don't forget Herder's shop. I know I'm repeating myself at this point, but the 5-star Hunt Light Cone gives a huge boost to Yan's damage potential, since he can essentially get extra 16% crit rate with only the first superimposition refinement level. And combining this with his Soul Steel Sync ability, with a little bit more critical rate from relics, you can basically focus on just building attack and critical damage, turning him into a monster of a single target damage killer. You might have noticed I haven't mentioned Bronya or Bailu teams in this video. Well, that's because both of them are extremely flexible. Almost in every encounter, you will need a healer, so Bailu is a no-brainer choice to go for, while Bronya is best utilized with a strong damage dealer, and let's be honest, you will have at least one good damage dealer in your team, like Donghong, Arlen, Zila, and so on. That's where Bronya shines the most. But let's say you obtain Bailu and still have no idea what team to build. Well, if by just using free-to-play units, you can go for a team like Donghong, Serval, Asta, and Bailu. There's some great buffing, single target damage, and type coverage you will have. And as for Bronya, the team is very similar to this one, except you would replace Asta or Serval. But that's basically it. Let me know in the comments which 5-star unit you obtained from the beginner's banner, and maybe me or somebody else can help you out with more suggestions. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd really appreciate if you could press the like button and help support my channel. And if you can, make sure to check out today's sponsor. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.